Hello, and welcome to our program, Where God Weeps, a program in which we speak with guests from all around the world about the universal church, and especially where the church suffers discrimination or persecution. With approximately 217 million inhabitants, Nigeria is the most populous country in Africa. Christians and Muslims each make up just less than half of the population. In the north, and increasingly in the Middle Belt, Christians and moderate Muslims suffer from the terror of militant Islamist groups such as Boko Haram and the radicalized and heavily armed Muslim Fulani livestock herders. Bishop Sylvester Gopep was consecrated Auxiliary Bishop of Minna on 20th February 2021. Tragically, Minna, the capital of Niger State, is at the center of the terrorist violence against the agrarian population, with kidnapping, attacks on villages, destruction of farmland, and abduction of women. To tell us about these issues, their complexities, and the wounds on Nigerian society, I'm pleased to welcome His Excellency Bishop Luka Sylvester Gopep. Your Excellency, thank you for being with us here today in our program.
It's a pleasure being invited here, and I'm privileged.
Your Excellency, just to give a little bit of context of your growing up, you were born in Pankshin, in a part of Nigeria, in the Middle Belt. Can you tell us, what was it like your growing up?
Yes, I am from the family of Gopep and Salome, my parent. Of course, Pankshin, as you rightly describe it, were petty farmers. So everybody there came from a farming background. Their grandparents were farmers, their parents were farmers, they were farmers. I am a farmer and a shepherd. Life is not very easy there because of the nature, the topography of the area. It's a mountainous area. So the only thing you could get there is to farm some certain things, and that is what we live on.
Now, you grew up in a big family. Can you tell us a little bit about your family background?
Yeah, I grew up from a polygamous family.
What does that mean, just for clarification?
Yes, my father was married to actually 3 women. And to grow up in a family like that is very, very challenging.
How many siblings were you?
We are about 12.
And what number are you?
I am number 6.
Why was it challenging?
Yeah, it was challenging because when you came out of a polygamous family, if you are fortunate and your mother is well-to-do, you wouldn't have challenge with feeding and other things. But if you are not, then certainly you will suffer it. That is 1. 2, if your mother is not the favorite of your father again, there are a lot of challenges. I, for one, I suffered that seriously because at a time my mother left my father.
So she was a single mother?
Yes.
With how many children?
With 6 again children, because she was married to another man, left, divorced that man, and got married to my father. So when the living was not good enough for her, she left to go and be with her children for the other man.
And she struggled?
She struggled, absolutely.
How was your day-to-day? What was food? Was food available, or was it?
There was no food for me. It became a very huge challenge on my part. At a point in time, I will spend days without food from that house. Because the other women that are there, they will cook, give it to their children, they will not give me. I went through that.
How did you survive?
Yes, I survived from the kindness of other people outside that family.
Just as a clarification, your family was a Catholic family, but you were living also in a polygamous situation. Is this common in Nigeria that Christians also have polygamous situations?
Of course, initially, where my father died not a Christian. So my father was a traditionalist. That's those who just believe in a traditional worship, not Christianity, not Islam.
Where did you get your faith?
My senior brother, who is from another father, was a Catholic. Others are from the Protestant side. So we're divided. So when the living became so tough, so hard, so challenging, they had to call on him. Even though you have the different father, you have the same mother with him. Come and carry him.
And he took you in?
He took me in.
And he raised you in the faith?
He raised me in the faith.
How would you describe your faith as a youth?
I was so committed to the church because when I got into the church, it became the only hope I have, because we go to the church and people around shower love on you. They could invite you to their homes and give you food to eat. And this is somebody who is coming from a difficult family, no food to eat. Now you go to church and people invite you to their home and give you food. So it became like
a second home?
Absolutely.
When you were called to be a bishop, the auxiliary bishop of Minna, what was your reaction when you heard the call from the nuncio?
The nuncio is still alive, so I wouldn't tell lies about him. My reaction was no.
You refused?
I refused. He pushed, I refused. I remember vividly he asked me, go to the chapel, you'll be there for 15 minutes. I went to the chapel. I was crying down there, prostrated before the Blessed Sacrament, and I was crying. He came himself to tap me and to raise me up. Even when we went back, I told him no. So he was escorting me, giving me 1 week to go and think about it. Then on our way, very close to my car, he said, you have just succeeded in disobeying the Pope.
Wow.
Yeah. And then I said to him, I have never disobeyed my bishop. Why Pope? He said, but that is just what you just did. Then I said to him, in that case, I surrender. He took me back.
So it has been a cross?
Absolutely, unless those who don't know what bishopric is all about. Bishopric is not about prestige, no. It's about service. Not just service at the lowest level, no. At a very top, high level. So anybody who is appointed to be a bishop and he thinks is something of glory, the person does not know what he's doing. It's a very big cross, heavy at that matter.
Your Excellency, I want to change now a little bit the chapter and talk a little bit about Nigeria. Nigeria is a country of 217 million, and Christianity makes up almost 50% of that total population. How would you describe the faith of the Christians in Nigeria? Is it a young faith still full of fire, or is it a faith that is little by little becoming more and more rooted and more, let's say, educated, catechized? How would you describe the faith?
I would tell you that 2 elements are there. It is a faith that is like wildfire that is still catching. It is also a faith that with these challenges that is happening, is a faith that is well rooted, and we could see it growing the way it's supposed to be. First, if you get to Nigeria, the Catholic Church in particular is on a huge growth. People are embracing Christianity. The church is going into the interior and people are embracing the Christianity. So you see a lot of church buildings all over the places. But of course, those villages, you would not say it, the faith have taken root yet. But again, come back to township and other places, the faith is well rooted. because in Nigeria you see a situation where the Catholic Church in particular and the church have contributed immensely to the development of the country. We have so many amenities like hospitals, clinics, schools, and church buildings. Now, at this pandemic of COVID-19, the Catholic Church alone donated make available to the government about 500 hospitals to be used. So I would say the church is like, the faith is like fire, is still coming up, and then has taken root based on these contributions that the church is making.
Your Excellency, you have more than 16 parishes in your diocese, and you have stated, quote, "Thugs can come at any time, even in broad daylight. They capture entire families, leaving the children and taking away the adults." What are we talking about when we're talking about these thugs? Who are these thugs, and why this particular situation?
Well, you must have read it through the news that the crisis we're having in Nigeria today started with this group called Boko Haram. Boko Haram, they are a group of fundamentalist Islamists. They started by declaring Western education is a taboo. That was how it started. And as I put in my other interview, when they started, their point of attack was the government. But they migrated from government to Christian, to religion. And the point of attack was the Christians. And that was what brought now the first attack of bomb blasts in our diocese on the 25th of December 2011.
That was the first
bomb blast in the church. And it killed a lot of people. And some people today, they are useless. Now it migrated from there to bandits, kidnappers. Today, as I talk to you, the government of Niger State, 2 years back, he publicly made a statement that his state is under the control of the Boko Haram. The government announced that. And as I told you, 16 of our parishes have been hijacked. The priests don't stay there again because the bandits, the kidnappers can come any day, anytime in the broad daylight.
So the priests, they're leaving. Are they concentrating in areas where they are safe? How does this work, and how does this affect the faith life of not only the faithful, but also the clergy?
Yeah, we are going through a lot of suffering and challenges. First, the priests, we have to move them to a safe ground, parishes in the town that we know they are safe. The other thing they do is
because they are a target?
Yes, they are also the target. Before, they are not the target, but of recent, you must have seen it on the news, the target now is the
clergy.
The clergy. The priests, the reverend sisters, the nun. In our diocese, one has been killed, one priest, for the John Bakan, one kidnapped for the Raphael Leo. So that is the situation. And then the children, they're out of school. No food to eat, no clothing, because once they comes, everybody will be running for his life. Just last week, I was still here. Last week, one of the parish priests sent to us that the last group of persons they kidnapped in his parish, they have been there for more than 1 month. It was just last week they succeeded in getting them back.
How do you handle it when a priest is kidnapped?
It's a very difficult situation. Because we discovered it is the target of the kidnappers now. They are the target, the priests. When it happened, certainly the bishop will not be involved. We get some lay person or his families who will negotiate for his release. Because the temptation of getting the bishop involved will worsen the situation.
They will see the money and they will,
Absolutely.
it will encourage them to do more.
Yeah, so
it's really the family.
the conference of the bishop in Nigeria agreed if a priest is kidnapped, they should not be involved.
Was there one story that touched you most deeply in all of these last years of violence that have occurred, especially against the priests and against your diocese?
The story that touched me more and I cannot forget about is a family in a village that were all kidnapped, the father, the mother, and 3 of their daughters. Right there, the kidnappers abused the daughters, the 3 daughters, to the scene of the parent. They did not stop there, they abused the mother also. Sexually abused, rape. They finished that and they demand for ransom. What an inhuman behavior.
It's evil.
Completely evil. And that happened, that took place.
How do you carry this suffering? It's something you live, how do you not get angry? How do you not rage? How do you keep your peace?
Well, sometimes you find yourself in a situation where if you know, even if you cry, nobody is available to help you. You just cry internally and then wait for God to do His will. But definitely we cried.
Have you ever
and
been,
we're still crying.
Have you ever been at risk?
So many times. There is no single Christian in the north, in the middle belt, that is not at risk with what is happening now, because now, once they target you, they can come right to your house and pick you. They can come right to your house and pick you. They have done that to so many people, and there's no challenge. Just last week, again, a parish, they operated from 4 o'clock in the evening till 4 o'clock in the morning, unchallenged.
The terrorists?
The terrorists. And they went away with 19 people. Right now that I'm talking, they are still under captivity.
In an interview, you attributed the current violence in the country to the government's inability to guarantee safety, provoking the development of self-defense groups, and you called it the justice of the jungle. Where is the government failing, and what is the danger of the justice of the jungle?
In a country where there are rules, laws are not working again, anything happen. Anything happen. The system in Nigeria has fallen. It's not longer working. And that is the reason why bandits, criminals, will walk into a town, kidnap the people, beat the people, kill some without challenge. At that point, the government that are charged with the responsibility of protection of life and properties, and they are not doing it, certainly the people will take to defending themselves. And of course, when you take to defending yourself, you are taking laws into your hand. You are taking laws into your hand. Which means you can mistake somebody for a criminal and you can still kill him.
And so the spiral of violence continues down.
Right. And that is what is going on.
You, that is the Minna diocese, has set up camps for refugees in different places to provide humanitarian assistance, irrespective of religious affiliation. What is the response of the Muslims when they come to you and you say, "You are welcome"? How do they respond? Is this also an opportunity for some reconciliation between peoples who have been so divided by these extremists?
Honestly, what has happened now and in those refugees camps, what I have seen is we have actually shoot the reputation of Christianity. The Muslims have testified that those who are there have opened their mouth to say Christianity is better than their religion. Because while there, their people have never come there to share anything to them. We go there to share it and we do not discriminate. That I see has united us the more, has brought unity between Christian and Muslims in that environment. And I'm sure if it continues this way, it is a source of peace to reign between us.
Your Excellency, you've shared with us a lot of tragedy. At the same time, you are still called to serve. You are called to do your pastoral responsibilities. How do you manage to keep this activity alive? How do you travel in an environment like this? How do you reach out? How do you continue your pastoral activities in such an environment?
My source of strength is from two major sources: the Eucharist and Mary. I am a very good devotee of our Mother Mary, and also a devotee of sitting before the Blessed Sacrament. Before I became a bishop, I sit before the Blessed Sacrament 2 hours every day. After the Mass every morning, I will not talk to anybody until I set my rosary ground. I will not mix weights. That has been the source of my strength, courage. So once I have done that, I have no fear again. I can go and to do whatever activities of the day, and I encourage the priests to continue and to keep it up also.
Your Excellency, what can we do? How can we help you?
Oh, certainly. There is so much that you can do. Like I've told you, it's just that I didn't come with I would have shown you what we have been doing in the diocese. The little we have been doing is to visit all these refugees camps. They are there without food. They are there without clothes. They are there, the children are out of school. So we will be so happy if we could get help. One, support to build clinics. Two, support to rest some of these churches that have been destroyed. And then, of course, we have justice and peace. The big problem we're having now is we have no car for the man in justice and peace to be entering those villages to encourage these people. So we will need help towards buying a car for a justice and peace person so that he will be entering these villages. Two, to build some of these churches. Like I can send you the pictures of about 3 churches that we have roofed them. but we cannot continue because we have no money, again, because of what is happening. One, we finish the building, but no money to roof it. So if we can get money, we complete the two, roof this one, complete it, and then money for that car, and then some money to build clinics for these people, and then get food for these people who are in various camps, that they look up to us. And that is what we have been doing. You will see me sharing food to the children. When I go, I just ask the adults, sorry, my concern now is the kid. You can go somewhere and fund for yourself. But the children cannot go because we are afraid if we let them go, they could go into different type of activities and
be lost.
Yes. So we gather them, we give them food. So we want to build schools so that we educate them. Because one of the reasons of all these things happening, Boko Haram and this, lack of education.
Exactly what Boko Haram wants to prevent.
Yes.
Your Excellency, thank you for having been with us today in our program.
Thank you so very much for the privilege given to me to be here.
It was a privilege for me.
Thank you so much.
And thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for having been with us today in our program, Where God Weeps. And if you'd like to know more about how you might be able to help His Excellency and the work in Minna Diocese in the middle belt of Nigeria, I would encourage you to look at the contact information at the end of this program. And we look forward to seeing you next week. Take care.